Hello and welcome back to another football commentaries live stream. We are here on this Monday night after an action-packed weekend of Premier League football where Manchester City got their revenge on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Ronaldo and his Manchester United side was beaten 1-0 at home after a Courtney Hall's 87th minute winner, only due to a Fernandes missed penalty in additional time of that game. And also Arsenal played out a statement victory, beating North London rival Spurs 3-1 at the Emirates, and up there with one of the games of the season so far, with Liverpool travelling up to newly promoted Brentford to play out a 3-3 draw. All these results are very convenient for Brighton. That means if they win tonight, they will go top of the league after winning 4 and only losing 1, and that was a 2-0 loss at home this season to Everton. Graham Potter's side could be upsetting the table this early on, with a chance to be the front runners come next week's fixtures, but Palace will want to disrupt Brighton's magnificent progress in this 106th recently named M23 derby. Palace only sit 15th with one win, but that was a home win versus Spurs in an emphatic 3-0 result. And on this Monday night in the borough of Croydon, will Palace secure back-to-back home league wins, or will Brighton surprise all and top the Premier League? Hello everyone. We have got the Monday Night Football tonight. Crystal Palace. What a shock. I would have started. Take on Brighton at Selhurst Park. Let me just get the timer ready for kick-off. Let's not change the font. There we go. Boom, boom. There we go. I'm going to change that to there. There we go. Right, that's fine. That is fine. If you aren't, please put your score predictions in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking for today's game. I have managed to fit another commentary, and it is this Monday night game at 8 o'clock. Crystal Palace against Brighton, the M23 derby, to finish this weekend's Premier League games. Like I said in the build-up paragraph there, you know, City getting a massive and a great win against Chelsea, played really well. Then you've got your United dropping points, Liverpool dropping points, and it does mean if Brighton come to Crystal Palace tonight and get the 3 points, they will go top of the Premier League after 6 matches, which is absolutely incredible from Brighton. We know they were able to perform the way they are last season. We saw it. They just could not get the finishing touch, and that's what made them drop so many points. But the fact that they're putting the goals in and they're beating these teams like, you know, your Leicester's, which is a really, really big result. You know, a team that will be going for top 6. I think that's absolutely massive. Great away win at Brentford as well. Brighton. So they thoroughly deserve to be in this position, and if they could go top of the league after 6 games, that would be a massive achievement for Graham Potter and his side. We're just under 7 minutes away from kick-off. I'm going to rattle through the lineups for this M23 derby. Crystal Palace versus Brighton. Let's get into the lineups. Vincent Gaeta, he's played every single minute so far of the Premier League season. He's 34 now, the Spaniard. He's in goal for Crystal Palace. Joel Wood makes up the right back, playing his 280th game for Palace since joining from 2012. Joachim Anderson and Mark Gahey, 2 summer signings, start alongside each other at centre back, and Tyreek Mitchell also starts at left back. Contract runs out at 2025, so he will be a player who stays for a long time and will be integral to the future of Crystal Palace, being at the age of 22. Loanee signing Conor Gallagher from Chelsea already has 2 goals this season, both coming in the away draw at West Ham. He plays in the midfield with Luka Milivojevic, who's back. The captain is back, 30-year-old, and he'll play alongside James MacArthur, who's been makeshift captain in the absence of Luka Milivojevic. And then a right winger of Jordan Ayew, and a left winger of Wilfried Zaha, who had Tanganga having a torrid time in the last home game for Crystal Palace against Tottenham. He got a goal and assist in that game, and he will hopefully help to provide a man who also got 2 goals late on in the game against Spurs. Odsonne Edouard gets the first start for Crystal Palace. He's chosen ahead of Christian Benteke. Patrick Vieira plainly said it was just something he wanted to do, something new. He felt like it would have been good change for Crystal Palace in this one. We'll see how he performs. So that's a starting 11. It's an exciting starting 11. It's a 4-3-3. They do seem to be slowly finding their way with the Vieira system. You've got to remember, with a new manager, it will take a little bit of time to adjust. I think they'll be completely fine in terms of staying up. People said they were going to go down. I think they'll be absolutely fine, if I'm going to be honest. I know they've only got one win so far this season, but they could make it 2 tonight. And even if they don't win, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think they'll find another way to win. The bench, though, go through it quickly. Jack Butland, the backup keeper, he got the full 90 minutes against Watford in the League Cup game. He plays on the bench. Nathaniel Klein and Martin Kelly, 2 right-backs, make up the right-backs on the bench, yet to play a minute, either of them in the Premier League so far. Chiarte, Will Hughes are 2 midfielders who make the bench, with Jeffrey Schlupp returning after missing the last 2 Premier League games. Michael Olise is also on the bench, the 19-year-old Frenchman signed from Reading in the summer. Jean-Philippe Mateta, he's only got 57 minutes in the season so far, and they all came against Chelsea. He is also partnered on the bench with other striker Christian Benteke, as the teams do start coming out for the game. It's a rocking Selhurst Park, can hold just under 25,500 fans, and it's an absolutely unbelievable stadium for Crystal Palace. Then just to go through the Brighton starting 11, Robert Sanchez, the 6'5" Spaniard in goal. He's now the number 1 at Brighton, the 23-year-old Spaniard. Lewis Dunk, Shane Duffy and Dan Burn make up a back 3. That is Lewis Dunk at 6'4", Shane Duffy at 6'4", and Dan Burn at 6'7". What a ridiculously tall defence. Wing backs of Joel Veltman and new signing Mark Cucurella. He was signed from Getafe in this summer transfer window. 2 midfielders, Alan Lallana and Pascal Gross, who's back after self-isolating, missing the last 2 games. Yves Bissouma, who's been one of the star players for Brighton and in the league, picked up a knock against Leicester. He's not yet been able to recover, so Pascal Gross comes in, and Yves Bissouma is not even in the matchday squad. And they're attacking triangle 3. Leandro Trossard, he's got the 1 goal so far, and that was in game 4 against Brentford away in the last minute to secure the 3 points in a 1-0 win. And he will also be supplying the balls to Neil Maupay, who's got 3 goals in his 5 Premier League games this season, and Danny Welbeck, who bagged his first goal of the season against Leicester City in that 2-1 win last Sunday. And on their bench is Jason Steele, the backup keeper, Tariq Lamptey, who's finally returning, starting to slowly get onto the bench in the Premier League for Brighton. He's going to be with Hayden Roberts, a young 19-year-old centre-back. He's on the bench with Jacob Amoda, Stephen Alzate, Taylor Richards. Solly March is also back after missing the Everton game with a hamstring injury. He's now going to return to the bench. Alexis McAllister, who got an equalising goal in the last minute in the reverse fixture last season at Selhurst Park. He's on the bench, and he'll sit alongside Aaron Connolly. Only the 45 minutes in the Premier League so far, and that was in a substitute appearance in the game 2 against Watford after replacing what was then an injured Maupay, but Maupay's been on fire, so he will have to be on the bench. Aaron Connolly. We are under 2 minutes away from kick-off. We've got a 3-1 Brighton. Would not surprise me. Really wouldn't. Brighton be superb, and it doesn't surprise me they're doing this well. They've started putting the ball in the back of the net. I think it's going to prove, that they will finish, I think, round top half, maybe mid-table. They've got the place for it, and they've got the system. And there is Patrick Vieira embracing Graham Potter. Graham Potter is yet to win against Crystal Palace as a manager. 5 attempts, 2 draws and 3 losses. He's had the 2 draws both being 1-1. But he'll want to win. Been managing Brighton since the May of 2019, 92 games in charge, 29 wins, 35 losses, conceding more than he's scored. But like I said, we know that slowly this season his Brighton team are going to be picking up points and maybe looking for a top half finish if possible. They've had a great transfer window as well, spending 52.4 million, but selling money that's been around 60 million, so making a profit and still bringing in players like Mark Cucurella, Spanish international, only 23 years old, signed from Getafe, formerly of Barcelona for 8 years before joining Getafe. So he's definitely got skill. We're about to get underway. Andre Mariner is our referee tonight. We're waiting for his whistle before we get away in this M23 derby at Selhurst Park. Andre Mariner blows the whistle. All players take the knee, except Wilfried Zaha, all standing for the same message. No room for racism or discrimination of any kind in society, and especially in football, as Brighton kick us off, kicking right to left. Crystal Palace, left to right, sent diagonally towards Dan Burn. He loses out. It's now with Joel Ward. Cleared down the line by Joachim Andersen. Cucurella will hook it back forward for Brighton. Brought down by Joel Ward. Touches heavy on the right, runs out of pitch. And just beyond the halfway line for Brighton, they have a throw-in. About to get the timer underway. It's his third season. Graham Potter in charge. 15th and 16th placed finishes. He'll want to get that much, much higher this season as Cucurella throws back to Dan Burn. It's now Robert Sanchez. Kicks it towards Cucurella, brings it down nicely on the chest. Into Gross, around the corner. Joachim Andersen will get there first as Neil Maupay gives chase. Neil Maupay sent there by Joachim Andersen with a nice turn and goes across to the edge of the 18-yard box to his centre-back partner, Mark Gehi, who spent last season on loan at Swansea, leading them to the playoff final, but were beaten by Brentford by 2-0. Tyreek Mitchell, the number 3, the first-team left-back, sends it down the channel, can't quite be controlled by Odsonne Edouard, and it's regained in possession by Shane Duffy. Dunk, who looks like he will be playing in the central position of those 3 centre-backs. Duffy on the right, Burn on the left. As Duffy clears up the field. Brought down by Trossard, only as far as Tyreek Mitchell in the Brighton half. It's now back to Anderson, number 16. Gehi, turning back, trying to preserve possession. Ends up turning back forward and finding Zaha and completes a 1-2. It's now Conor Gallagher, just towards the halfway line for Palace as they keep possession. They'll want to dominate the ball if they can be in the home team. A diagonal ball forward by Joachim Andersen. Zaha will give chase, comes off the back of Veltman, and will fall to Tyreek Mitchell on the edge of the 18-yard box, surrounded by Brighton players. Does work it, though, to Wilfried Zaha, into James MacArthur, into Zaha again. He's one-on-one with Veltman, goes down the line to Conor Gallagher. Tries to get a cross in, he gets one, and it deflects off Shane Duffy, and it will be a corner kick for Crystal Palace, getting their fans going early. It is said that Palace do have one of the better home atmospheres in the Premier League. They're known for it. They definitely know how to get their team up for matches. They do currently have 5 points, 15th. Can they add to that? Milivojevic with an in-swinging corner, headed away by Duffy, only as far as Conor Gallagher on the edge of the 18-yard box. Falls back towards Joel Ward. He's going to send it back to the original corner taker, Milivojevic, the captain. Brings it down, strikes it off of Joel Veltman, and it'll be a throw-in towards that left-hand side corner flag for Crystal Palace. We're in this game early on, and it's Palace dominating so far. MacArthur finds himself in the left-wing position here. Mitchell shifts it onto his left. Tackled by Veltman, but the ball drops to Zaha. Into the box to Conor Gallagher. Shifts it back over to MacArthur. Strong tackle by Veltman again. Twice as he has to take it away from Zaha. But Palace still regain possession and recycle. It's now with Joachim Andersen. Over to right back Joel Ward. Through the lines looking for the run of Ayew. Cut out by Cucurella. And he looks to set Brighton forward here. With Danny Welbeck down the left-hand side. Surging past Joel Ward. Going inside. Beautiful move here from Danny Welbeck. Feeds into Maupay. Looks for the 1-2. Deflecting off of Brighton players and Palace players. And in the end, it is going to be a free kick for Crystal Palace as there was a handball there off of Neil Maupay. Great skill, though, from Welbeck. Sprinted past Joel Ward, then took it on the inside. Looked to complete a 1-2 with Maupay, but it kind of got stuck in between Palace defenders and Maupay, and as he tried to shift it, I think it lifted onto his hand. Let's have a look. Great skill from Welbeck. Pokes it into Maupay. Came off Andersen, then back off of the arm of Maupay, and a throw-in. And a free kick for Crystal Palace as Maupay tried to kick the ball away from Gehi as he was trying to pick it up. Joachim Andersen just threw him to the ground, showing that the Derby spirit is completely within this game. And they've got it forward quickly with Milivojevic around 30 yards away from goal. Going across to MacArthur, then once more to the far left to Tyreek Mitchell. He'll got Zaha in support, he'll feed it to the Ivorian. Tries to spin Pascal Gross, but the German midfielder wins it back and wins a free kick. As he released it, he was brought to the ground. Dan Burn to Cucurella. in the Palace half. Goes down the line to Danny Welbeck. He's found himself on the final third here in the left wing position. Goes back to Cucurella. Dan Burn to the halfway line to Dunk. Forward to Gross. Now back to his keeper. Gross. Robert Sanchez. Goes long. Down the right hand side channel looking for Leandro Trossard. Brings it down nearly. Gay got his body in the way between ball and man and shepherded it away. And Palace are back in possession. Anderson to Mark Gahey. It's now Tyreek Mitchell. Down the line. Header won by Duffy. Almost found Milivojevic. It's now Mark Gahey again. Was at Chelsea from 2007 till 2021, only making 2 first-team appearances. We're looking for a lot of Premier League experience in this first season as Tyreek Mitchell whips the ball in towards Odsonne Edouard, nods it into the edge of the 18-yard box to Gallagher, looks for a back heel back towards Edouard, cut out by Brighton, and they look to counter-attack here. Oh, with Lallana, they're losing out to Jordan Ayew. He'll run at the Brighton defence and gets a shot away, blocked by Brighton captain Lewis Dunk, and it'll be a corner kick for Crystal Palace as the fans are right up for this one. Milivojevic already took a corner once in this game. He's going to take a second one from the opposite side in front of the away fans as he looks to give Brighton an early scare. It's a deep one towards the far post, headed away by Dan Burn. Back towards Tyreek Mitchell, switches out towards Milivojevic, finds the Serbian central midfielder. Nice intricate ball into Ayew, back to goal, he turns forward. Surrounded by Brighton players, can he work across? Has to try and play it back towards Milivojevic. Keeps it in on that right-hand side. Well played by Ayew. It's now into MacArthur. He's got space for a cross. He'll lift it in towards the far post. No one's there except Conor Gallagher, who plays back to Tyreek Mitchell. Gallagher again. It's a great start for Palace. Cuts inside. Shoots. And it's deflected again off Lewis Dunk. Another corner for Palace. Lewis Dunk. Brighton through and through. He's been at the club now since 2003. He's nearing 350 appearances. This is 349. And he's also closing in on 150 Premier League appearances. This is 149. Taken quickly, and it's a shot/cross held by Robert Sanchez as the corner was taken quickly in the end. Sanchez on the edge of the 6-yard box. Diagonal switch to Cucurella. Nodded down to Dan Burn, the left centre-back. Forward to Lallana. Cucurella looks for a ball inside, deflects, and it's now with MacArthur. Gallagher nods it forward. MacArthur again looks to head backwards towards the right back. Joel Ward meets it ahead of Malpay and lifts the ball forward. Controlled down with the chest of Dunk and cleared by the left foot of Dan Burn. Down the left-hand side channel where Welbeck puts Joachim Andersen under pressure, but Crystal Palace deal with it and clear. Only as far as Robert Sanchez. No Palace players making a run in behind there. But he has replaced, for sure now, Robert Sanchez in the Brighton goal. Matt Ryan, who's now left the club. He's now gone to, I'm pretty sure it is, Valencia. Matt Ryan as Palace look for a ball. Brighton look for a ball over the top themselves. Fall straight back to the Palace keeper, Vicente Guaita. It's now Tyreek Mitchell. It's now Joachim Andersen. The two meetings they had last year, it was a 1-1 draw at Selhurst Park and a 2-1 win for Crystal Palace at Brighton. A 95th minute Christian Benteke winner in February was the difference between the two sides that evening. Also on a Monday night, Palace was dominated by Brighton, but they nicked a smash and grab when Roy Hodgson was once manager. But they've got a different proposition now, an improved Brighton, a more clinical Brighton. In Graham Potter's third season, as we're under 10 minutes in, and you could say Brighton's had more possession and looking a bit more dangerous, but Brighton will surely settle into the game and have chances of their own. Dunk sends a long diagonal ball to the right-hand side towards Veltman. Cut out and nodded down to Mark Gahey by Tyreek Mitchell. It's now Gahey playing it to Mitchell. Milivojevic sees a diagonal himself in behind for Ayew. Cut out by the head of Cucurella. Dan Burn. Gross. Dan Burn again on the halfway line. Forward to Cucurella inside the Crystal Palace half. Dan Burn again. It's now Lewis Dunk, who was sent off at this ground last season in that 1-1 draw when Crystal Palace went ahead in the 90th minute through a Zaha penalty, and then McAllister got a 90th minute equaliser, and then 3 minutes later in the 93rd, Lewis Dunk got himself sent off, and that did end a stalemate in the end. Wasn't his first time getting sent off against Brighton. Had also done it previously in the 2012-2013 season as Brighton picked the ball back up as they lost it for a split second there. Veltman clears up towards Malpe over his head. Welbeck will give chase. Brought down by Gahey and played out to Mitchell on the left. Down the line to Zaha. Back to goal. Plays it into MacArthur. Into Zaha again. Looking forward. Looking for the ball towards Tyreek Mitchell. Can't slip it through past Veltman. The right back will look to clear. Chops once. Plays it back to Duffy. Poor clearance straight to Zaha. Not the person you want it to land to. Plays it back to Milivojevic. Gallagher. One more pass over to the right back, Joel Ward. He's got room for a cross. He's going to look towards the far post where that's way too heavy. Too much on it. Misses Zaha out for a throw-in for Brighton on the opposite side. Joel Ward needs to do better than that. Got a 2-year extension on his contract in 2021. Seen him till 2023. Obviously, Crystal Palace and Vieira see that Joel Ward still has a place at the club despite being 31 and them getting rid of so many older players last season after their contract expired. The likes of Andros Townsend, Van Aanholt, Sacco, Cahill, Scott Dan, Hennessy, McCarthy, Wickham. So many the older players getting out for free, getting them off the wage bill. And we're seeing more youth used now by Patrick Vieira. As Cucurella has it for Brighton as they try and break. Trossard pokes it into Malpe just behind Cucurella as the move is just disrupted for a split second. But it's back with Brighton in their defence with Shane Duffy's a fantastic return after a pretty miserable loan spell at Celtic. Wasn't very liked by the fans, wasn't very good for them. And he'll be honest with that. He has got a goal as well this season and as well playing every minute in the Premier League. His goal came against Watford in a home victory. Mitchell for Palace clips down the line. Header won by Veltman, helped on by Pascal Gross. Only finds Milivojevic in the Palace half. Milivojevic, the captain. Now Joel Ward. Forward into Ayew, who's in the Brighton half. Back it goes to Anderson, who was on loan last season at Fulham and was made captain by Scott Parker. Both of them now longer at Fulham. Scott Parker having a great start, I think top of the league with Bournemouth in the Championship. And here he is, the Danish centre-back with a switch to Mitchell. Great ball, great control. In the final third, in the left wing position is now Wilfried Zaha. Looks to take on Veltman and Gross. Works across past them. As far as Lallana, who's not fouled in the box. Loses his footing, but it is cleared in the end by Veltman. It's been a very good, positive first 14 minutes for Crystal Palace at home, asserting their dominance, showing that they are the home team and they won't let Brighton come here and dominate just because they've had a better start. They've already worked it back out to the left back Tyreek Mitchell, who's getting far forward here for Palace, adding extra bodies into Crystal Palace attacks. And they've got 2 pretty hard games coming up next. Leicester at home and Arsenal away. Won't be easy for Palace, as Gahey loses it there as he looks for Zaha in behind in the 18-yard box. Wasn't quite on the same wavelength. Can be collected by 6'5" Spaniard Robert Sanchez. There's the bearded Graham Potter going for the bearded look this season. The former left back, now 46 years of age. A year older than Patrick Vieira by 11 months. Dan Burn. Into Malpe. Over to Pascal Gross. Pokes it to Joel Veltman, formerly of Ajax. The number 34 for Brighton. on the halfway line is Pascal Gross with the ball. It's down to Lewis Dunk. He's also played all minutes so far in the Premier League, but yet to register a goal or an assist for his team. Dunk. Duffy. Dusting the Brighton halfway inside the Brighton half as Palace are refraining from too high of a press and too intense of a press. They want to tire themselves out too easily. Cucurella again, a curl ball looking for Danny Welbeck in behind, cut out by Anderson. Played out from the backs now with Mark Gehi. Over to Mitchell again in the Palace half. Forward it goes. Controlled by Zaha. Tackled by Veltman. Throwing for Palace towards the halfway line. Veltman not letting Zaha have any time on the ball. And rightly so, because Zaha is very dangerous when he gets on the ball. Joel Ward on the ball in the right back area. Into Ayew. Ward over to Anderson. Ward again. Has to clear with the left foot. Not very convincing, but it turns out to be a fantastic ball in the end for Zaha. Met strongly by Veltman again, but it only falls as far as Milivojevic. Outside of the boot ball, out to Mitchell on the left-hand side. He's got space because Veltman is currently out of position. Mitchell, low ball in. Ayew back to goal, lays off to Milivojevic. Blocked by Cucurella. Regained by MacArthur. Palace back in possession there. MacArthur, they're definitely targeting that left-hand side, Palace. And they've worked it again to Tyreek Mitchell. Back into MacArthur. Anderson sweeps it towards Jordan Ayew on the right-hand side. A one-on-one with Cucurella. Inside to Milivojevic. First time forward to Gallagher. Takes it on the turn. Stopped by Dan Burn. Brighton back in possession on the edge of the 18-yard box. With Dunk clipping it forward towards Maupay. Nods it down into Lallana. Looped to Danny Welbeck on the left. Just about keeps it in. And feeds the Spaniard Cucurella. Lallana. Back to Dan Burn on the halfway and Brighton back in possession. Definitely the better start for Crystal Palace. They've been absolutely fantastic. Yet to have a big chance is Lallana's great ball through to Maupay. Can't feed Trossard. Cut out by Mitchell, who has the ball now. Being pressured by Trossard, but he releases it with a ball looking for Zaha over the top. Too much on it. Out of play is met by a round of applause by Vieira. He understands that his team have started brightly here, and they need to if they want to keep making progress with another home win. Did finish 14th last season, Crystal Palace, under Roy Hodgson in his last season. Getting a points total of 44. Yeah, 44. Oh, some wild ball there from Pascal Gross as Brighton to try and play out from the back in their final third. Gross looks for the right centre-back of Duffy, but he puts too much height on it and cheaply gives Crystal Palace possession back, with Palace keeping it and going backwards. And then forwards now with Zaha. MacArthur, the experienced Scottish midfielder, won the FA Cup back in 2013 with Wigan, beating Manchester City in the final. Jordan Ayew, brother of Andre Ayew, who's spent time himself in the Premier League. I think he's now abroad in the Saudi Arabian League, I'm pretty sure. Andre Ayew, I've been released by Swansea in the summer. Here he's on the ball again, Andre Ayew, in the final third on the edge of the box. Goes across to Zaha. Forward to Anderson, who's found himself forward. And then a spin shot by Edouard. Easily saved in the end by Sanchez. But the thoughts there, and how is Anderson ended up so quick and so far high up? He's playing alongside Edouard there, the centre-back. Linking up together, playing it to Edouard. He spun, he shot. It was saved in the end. Easy one for Sanchez. Long ball forward. Header one. And then flicked on once more by Palace as they come forward again. It's been a brilliant start from Crystal Palace. Brighton wouldn't complain, or shouldn't complain, if they do concede in this matter of time. MacArthur. Now Mitchell. Very much directing their play down this left-hand side. Crystal Palace. Gehi. Over to Milivojevic, sitting a little deeper and spreading the play to Joel Ward. Side to Ayew. Turns Lallana and goes over to Mitchell. To Guy, now Mitchell. Ball into Zaha, tries to turn, stopped by Duffy. Trossard can bring it away. Now Kudos back into Veltman. In the right back area, has to spin and clear and out for a throw, and it goes. And it'll be given to a Brighton throw-in as it was deflected as Veltman cleared. Veltman with the throw in the Brighton half. Into Malpe, tries to head it back towards the Dutchman, who then heads it down the line himself. Can't find Trossard, it falls to Gehi in the end, who volleys it back to his goalkeeper, Vincent Gaeta. Hitting the 100 mark for Palace a couple of games ago. It's now his 102nd appearance for Palace since joining in 2018. Anderson clears it forward. Directed towards Edouard, but too much on it. Duncan headed backwards to his keeper, and Brighton can have the ball back and they restart from their keeper. It's now with Dunk on the edge of the 18-yard area. Tries to play it to the left-hand side. It deflects and it'll be Gallagher to pick it up in midfield. Back to Ward. Inside to Milivojevic. A run's being made on the left to Mitchell. He'll look for him. He'll find him. It's now MacArthur. Deep in the Brighton half as they played along to Joel Ward. It was helped on by Ayew, which gave it the direction to Joel Ward. He looks down the line to find Jordan Ayew. Can he quite keep it in? Not sure if he quite kept that in. Jordan Ayew's not happy there with the ball from Joel Ward. Shaking his head. It will be a goal kick. Couldn't quite keep it in for the corner. Jordan Ayew, when he did get the clearance away, when he did get the cross in, it was already out of play. Dan Burn down the left-hand side. Long ball dealt with by Joachim Andersen, only as far as Welbeck, who can't head it forward. It will fall to the feet of Conor Gallagher, who buys the free kick from Mark Cucurella. It's already taken and they get on with it. Crystal Palace with Mark Gehi in the left centre-back position. Brings it forward towards the halfway line. Forward to MacArthur. Back to Gehi. Milivojevic. Joachim Andersen. Over to Joel Ward at right back. Will dart forward. Get inside to Gallagher. Back he goes to Milivojevic. MacArthur in the midfield for Crystal Palace. Mark Gehi gets on the end of it and plays a ball looking for Odsonne Edouard, headed away by Brighton. It'll be a throw-in for Palace. Like I said, be much the better team in this first 23 minutes. There is Tariq Lamptey warming up. Got his first minutes against Swansea in the League Cup for a very long time. He was also on the bench against Leicester, but didn't get onto the field. Down the line for Zaha. Duffy gets there first, plays it back to his keeper. It's an awkward ball. He does clear it in the end, Sanchez. Well, as far as Gehi on the halfway. It's now Anderson forward to Milivojevic. Tries to play it back towards Gehi. He will get there ahead of Lallana. And the slide tackle does get it forward to Tyron Mitchell. In behind it goes towards Edouard. Cut out by the slide tackle of Duffy on the edge of the 18-yard area. Brighton back in possession. Plays it back to Sanchez, the keeper. Curls it towards Cucurella on the left. Tries to chest it down to his centre-back partner, Dan Burn. Caught short and then commits the foul on Ayew as he tried to break forward after regaining possession after Brighton were a little bit unaware of what was going on around them. Cucurella thought he could chest it down to his teammate. It was too short. Ayew picked in there and got there and won the foul as Brighton tried to recover. He's got his body across Cucurella there. Jordan Ayew forcing the foul from the Spanish left wing back, one of the players bought in the summer, costing Brighton around £18 million from Getafe, probably with add-ons on top of that. But Jordan Ayew's not scored in his last 32 Premier League games, wins the free kick. It's not a shooting position for Milivojevic, but it is a perfect crossing opportunity, and they've got height in there, and so does Brighton, but Palace have Anderson in there, who's about 6'4". Gehi's 6 foot. Milivojevic tries to catch the keeper out of the near post. Didn't even hit the target. Really poor there from the Serbian central midfielder, who's been out for the opening parts of the season and got 23 minutes under his belt against Tottenham in the 3-0 win. Starting today ahead of Cheku Kiarte. Sanchez over to Veltman on the right. Left-footed ball over the top towards Trossard. Can't win it ahead of Milivojevic. Trossard, as he pushed the Serbian midfielder in the back, trying to gain an advantage on the halfway. Referee wasn't having that. Andre Mariner. Andre Mariner is the referee today with linesmen of Simon Long, Scott Ledger. Fourth official Kevin Friend. In VAR is Chris Kavanagh, and assistant VAR is Nick Hopton. Ayew on the right hand side. Back to Joel Ward towards the halfway. Brighton, the slower team so far. Crystal Palace enjoying possession and playing to the favourable home crowd, because when they get their home crowd behind them, they are a pretty tough force to be dealt with. It's now Gaeta in the 18-yard area. Looks for the left-hand side. Helped on, but I think that was Mitchell. Ball as far as the Brighton defender Shane Duffy. Sanchez clipped forward. Malpe nowhere near. Matt Gehi's allowed to chest it and bring it forward to the halfway line. He tries to slot through Odson Edouard. Too much on it, can't collect. It'll fall all the way back to number 20 for number 1, Davinson Robert Sanchez. Brighton yet to have a shot. Palace with 5, but only 1 on target. And it was a pretty tame effort by Odson Edouard. Dunk. Back to Robert Sanchez. Another ball out to the left, where Cucurella will get there and head it back towards Byrne, who helps it forward, but not good enough. Milivojevic can intercept and play it forward to Gallagher. Dispossessed by Dan Byrne, and he'll bring it away. The 6'7" centre-half. Cucurella into Dan Byrne, looks to try and flick it around Joel Ward. Can't do so, runs out of pitch there on the Brighton left, and Palace take the throw in quickly, and McCarthy's then dragged down in the end by Adam Lallana on the halfway, and that'll be a booking, says Andre Mariner. Cynical from Lallana. Took the throw in quickly there, as McCarthy tried to get beyond the Premier League champion Adam Lallana with Liverpool. He just brought him down, knowing he was never going to get the ball. A rightly given booking. And the bookie goes Alan Lallana. First booking of the season for him, as the free kick was launched towards Zaha in the box, headed back to his keeper by Duffy, well defended by the Irish international. Shane Duffy did struggle last season, but has won Irish Player of the Year in 2018 and 2019. So we know how good he can be as they look for a ball over the top here. Welbeck down the left. Keeps it in. Not enough, though, for Joel Ward. As he thought he was going to go out, he left it, and Brighton have poked it back in play. So with Welbeck in the box on the left. Plays it across to Malpe, lays it off behind him to Lallana on the edge. Out to the right-hand side they go. Pascal Gross chops onto his right. Looks for a cross, blocked off first time by Mitchell. Does work it in second time with Trossard, side netting. Trossard got in front of his man at the near post and helped it towards goal. Side netting it went, though, by the Belgian. Good play. First real chance for Brighton. First shot on goal. Well worked by Lallana to get it out wide to Gross. He knew he had a tough task getting beyond Mitchell, but he did get it once. Tried a cross, blocked. Tried a second time, low and hard, towards Leandro Trossard, who got there ahead of his man. Diverted a shot towards goal. Not quite what he wanted. And the score stays Palace 0, Brighton 0. Cucurella. Brighton now back in possession. Sanchez hoofs it forward up towards Welbeck. Does head it onto the right to Malpe. Veltman on the halfway. Left-footed pass back into Malpe. And then back he goes to Shane Duffy. It's now Lewis Dunk dictating the play for Brighton at the minute. Lewis Dunk, the captain. Veltman. Back towards Shane Duffy. Dunk. 9th meeting in the Premier League between two sides, so not many Premier League meetings. Palace have won 3 of them. Brighton have won 2, 1 home, 1 away, including 3 draws, 2 of them being at Palace. So we're half an hour in. Palace have had more shots and more possession and probably been the better side, but Brighton, when they have come forward with that Trossard chance just moments ago, they have looked dangerous to a certain degree, not quite having the finishing touch yet. Gross in the Brighton half, just calmly keeping the ball in the midfield. Going back to Lewis Dunk. And then Ventura's ball towards Cucurella, who chests it forward and keeps it in and completes a 1-2 with Welbeck, and then down the channel it goes to Trossard, who takes it in his path and then backheels it into Cucurella, and then another backheel to Trossard. Great play on that left-hand side. It's now Lallana looking for an audacious switch down the right-hand side. Veltman will get there, pickpocketing Zaha. Now plays it into Maupe on the right-hand side of the box. No chance for a shot. Plays it back into Veltman, who then works across. Oh, it's poor. Shocking cross by the Dutchman. Had to hit it first time before it got blocked, and out for a goal kick it goes for Vincent Gaeta. Works into Maupe. Was forced back to go to Veltman as he was forced away from goal by Tariq Mitchell. Tony Bloom, the Brighton chairman, presumably with his son next to him there, is at the game in attendance. As Brighton have just gotten the ball, long ball forward by Palace from their own goal kick. Really poor. Just handing Brighton possession back, and after the bright start Palace have had, you don't want Brighton to get settled in the game. Sanchez. Ball over the top. Oh, it's to Welbeck. He's caught. Joel Ward called here. Danny Welbeck tries to get the shot away, asking for a penalty as Gaeta saved his half-hit shot. Couldn't quite connect with it. Long ball by Sanchez over the top, catching the Palace defence cold, just onside. Joel Ward was trying to recover. Welbeck got in behind, got the touch forward. It was a pretty decent touch, but couldn't quite get the shot away in the end as the ball was just racing away from him. Got contact on the ball to get a shot away, but in the end it was too soft and easily saved by Gaeta, and there was no penalty involved. Not enough contact from Joel Ward on Danny Welbeck, but that shows how easy it is to get in behind there for Brighton if they keep having a go at that. Welbeck not too far away. Sanchez clears it. Gehi heads forward. Looped on by Milivojevic. Brought down by Zaha. Beautifully done. MacArthur in the final third for Palace. On the left. Plenty of Brighton bodies back to defend. So we are still 0-0 in this M23 derby. Anderson over to McCarthy. Tackle by Neil Maupay. Mitchell throws it back into Mark Gehi. Currently sit 6th. Brighton, with these games already played at the weekend, obviously if they win they will go top. But even if they draw, they'll go, I think, joint second with the likes of Manchester City, Chelsea and Manchester United. Just an unbelievable start. 4 wins yet to draw. The 1 loss. 7 goals scored, 4 conceded. Top scorer so far is Neil Maupay, and they've got 2 clean sheets. 1 home, 1 away. And they were both wins in those. No 0-0 draws yet. No draws at all so far for Brighton. Let's put it forward. Trossard flicks over the head of Conor Gallagher. Loses out though in the end. Couldn't quite keep his foot on the ball. So now with Joachim Andersen. Got 3 appearances in the Euros. Didn't start in any of them for Denmark. Kind of came on to reassure the Denmark defence when they were leading in games. Zaha now has it. Into Edouard. Tries to poke it ahead of Dunk. Tackled in the end. Cleared. Not convincingly at all. It's now with MacArthur. Slots a ball through down the byline looking for Zaha. Just too much on it. Zaha slightly frustrated. The pass wasn't quite right. He said it was inches away from James MacArthur before being a perfect ball there. Let's have a look at this Danny Welbeck penalty claim again. Got him behind. Slight little shove. Clipped his back of his heel though. Tangle of legs, you could see it as. But Joel Ward did clip the left leg of Welbeck, as Zaha has now got the ball in the box for Crystal Palace. Gets a shot away, deflects towards the near post. Easy catch in the end for Sanchez. Wonder how Brighton lost the ball there. We're looking at a penalty claim replay, and then we're back with Zaha shooting at goal. 10 minutes before additional time is announced, and we're still at 0-0. Like I said, no real big chances where you kind of get off your seat. But Palace definitely having the better handful of the chances. Poor clearance from Sanchez. Easily collected by Gallagher. He's not been quite as dangerous as I would have liked to have him been. Joel Ward looks for searching ball in behind. Edouard won't get there ahead of Dunk. Clears it down the line. Ayew goes down and seems like he's gone down a little bit softly there. Ayew, I think, disagrees with me. He's given a bit of a dirty look there to a Brighton player who disagrees with the ref decision. Taken quickly on the halfway line by Milivojevic. Back to Anderson. Forward to Milivojevic. Looking forward himself. Looking for a diagonal switch. Deflected by Trossard back towards his keeper. And that breaks down that Palace attempted attack. Robert Sanchez. He's got the one appearance in the last international break for Spain, but it was only about 20 minutes long. Joined Brighton back in 2013 at under-18s level from Levante. Spent the 2019-2020 season at Rochdale in League One, so it's a quick rise for Robert Sanchez. Now, Gross missed control, but his miscontrol does fall back to Shane Duffy in the back for Brighton. In the 18-yard boxes, Sanchez just about clears it ahead of a sliding Odsonne Edouard. Falls all the way to Gehi, who heads it forward. And then MacArthur tries to play it back in towards his defence. Picked up by Trossard. He switches over to the left to Cucurella. Lots of room on the left. Plays it inside back into Trossard, who finds the Spaniard again towards the byline. He works a cross in. It's a great slide challenge from Joe Ward to deflect the cross away for a corner. Really good recovering as he left Cucurella and a lot of room there, Joel Ward. Good 1-2 there between the Spaniard and the Belgian. Got the cross in. Plays with their arriving Maupay, Welbeck. Even Lallana was trying to get in on the act. But like I said, they've got so much height. This corner could be dangerous. Shane Duffy has scored from a corner already this season against Watford in his only goal of the season. Dan Burns also in there. Someone you'd probably aim for at 6'7". All three centre-backs are up for it as a in-swinging corner goes in. Headed away easily, as far as the edge of the box to Adam Lallana. Always rising over the crossbar. He's better than that, Adam Lallana. Did only score the one goal last season. That was back in March. Scored a few goals, 3 in total for England. All those goals coming in 2016. His last appearance for England was back in 2018. He's now at the age of 33, Adam Lallana. Fell out of touch with Liverpool due to his injuries, which he's not had the best of luck with, if we are honest. Gaeta takes it short from the goal kick to Joachim Andersen. Goes towards Ayew on the right. Lays it back into his right back. Ward into Ayew again. Gallagher. Ward. Gallagher. Looking to play it forward if he can. Deflects off Dan Burn, throwing for Palace on the halfway. They have got players they can bring on. Palace, likes of Christian Benteke for something different. Jean-Philippe Mateta, a 6'3" French striker who did score the first goal in this fixture away at the Amex in that 2-1 win. It's a beautiful back heel sort of finish to put the Eagles in front. He's struggled at Palace so far. Mateta, that is his only goal for the club against Brighton last season. He's on loan again from Mainz this season. Mateta with a £14 million option to buy. They're playing out from the back here with MacArthur, who's been forced all the way to the 6-yard area. Has to clear it. Does find Ayew, tackled by Cucurella. Throwing for Palace in their own half. Anderson. Long directed ball towards the right-hand side. It's found Conor Gallagher in behind. Pulls it back. Oh, Zaha can't take it under control. Falls to Gross in the end. He then lays it off to Duffy, who smashes it away and relieves Brighton pressure. Puts all the way back to Vincent Gaeta in the Palace goal. Really well found ball there from Anderson. Seeing Conor Gallagher down the right wing, all free and open. His ball was decent as well. Zaha just couldn't quite get it under control. Milivojevic, nice ball forward to Edouard, lays it off into Ayew on the halfway. Gallagher now. Into Joel Ward, who joins the attack. Gallagher tries to play it around the corner to Ayew, cut out by Lallana. He's now back with Dan Burn. Going to send it down the left-hand side. Touched down by Welbeck into Cucurella. Tries to return it back into Welbeck, and a big sliding challenge from Mark Gehi. Denies Welbeck from getting forward, but a poor pass back from Mark Gehi. He had to just be recovered by Gaeta, and he's just kept it in, and they've worked out from the back now. Could have been disastrous there, Gehi's back pass. He's aiming towards a corner, but Gaeta kept it in. Now Zaha, not fancying taking on Veltman in this current moment. It's now back with Mark Gehi. Anderson. Gehi again. Milivojevic turns forward, looking for Edouard in behind. Header won by Dunk, and his header's gone back to his keeper. And Brighton are back in possession as we're aiming towards half-time. No real big clear-cut chances, but Brighton have probably had more possession and more shots. Brighton have just ridden this storm of Palace pressure in the first half. Dunk into Robert Sanchez. Long ball looking for Neil Maupay. Gehi wins it with a header forward to Mitchell. Just about gets there ahead of the on-rushing Veltman. And it's now Zaha. Inside towards MacArthur. Can't get on the end of it. Runs all the way across and helped away by Dan Burn to Cucurella. Burn in the final third for Brighton defensively. Working it out. Finding Cucurella, number 3. Well, it's been a while since I've seen one of your lives. Well, I'm glad you're here. Bit of a slow start in terms of views. We're now on 4, which is pretty decent. I had 0 for quite a bit, so I'm glad you're here. Hope you're enjoying. I just can't do commentaries as often anymore due to starting college this year. So the numbers will probably drop because I won't be able to do them as often, but I'm glad you're here. Hope you're enjoying it. It's not been a bad game. I did expect a bit more from this. Thought it was going to be a really exciting M23 derby, but I'm sure the second half could easily spark into life. Dan Burn, right-footed clearance. Aim towards Trossard, will never win the header on Gehi. He heads it forward to MacArthur. Now Gallagher on loan from Chelsea, scoring those 2 goals away at West Ham in a 2-2 draw earlier on in this season. Such a good player. Conor Gallagher spent last season on loan at West Brom under Slaven Bilic and Sam Allardyce. Zaha getting beyond Maupay. Mitchell inside to Zaha again. He's got room. Plays it through towards Gallagher on the byline. Back to Zaha it goes. 1-on-1 with Pascal Gross. Can he work across? Nice skill. Works across. Over towards Ayew. Headed away by Cucurella. Brought down by Ayew on the edge of the 18. Down the line it goes towards Joel Ward. Gets there at Dan Burn. Twisting, turning. Looking for a passer across. Towards the corner flag it goes. And he plays it back to Ayew. He's created space. Darting inside. And playing it into MacArthur. Milivojevic. It's restarting again, Palace. That pressure's kind of simmered down a little bit. Looking like they could have got him behind there, down the byline. So we've got 90 seconds left of this half. Milivojevic with a switch down the left. They've gone down this side a lot, Palace. They want to use it to their advantage. MacArthur. Across to Gehi. The 2 centre-backs are far forward as well, really pinning Brighton in here. But this is probably all part of the game plan. They know what they're doing. Graham Potter and Brighton. But they'll have to be on it to deal with this attack. Ayew. MacArthur. Again, finding it hard to break down this light sky blue wall of Brighton at the minute. Can't say Palace aren't trying to break it down, but when Brighton's so resolute, it does become difficult. Just got to keep shifting the ball from side to side and doing it quickly, which they are doing in fairness. Obviously well drilled by Patra Vieira. Here's Mark Gehi. Can they break the lines? Zaha takes over, quite far away from goal. Try to take on Pascal Gross. Gallagher. Edouard on the edge of the box, trying to release it. I swear he was clipped from behind. No, says the referee. Palace lose. And here come the Brighton counter-attack with Danny Welbeck. Heavy challenge by Joel Ward. And he wins it back, says the referee, fairly. And Palace can come forward again. His Brighton counter-attack chance faded pretty quickly. About to find out additional time, if there is any. We've got 10 seconds until we find out. Joel Ward inside to Ayew, quite deep. He does charge forward, though, towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Lays it off into Gallagher. Darts inside, into the box. Brought down by Leandro Trossard, penalty kick. A little bit of energetic movement from Conor Gallagher, trying to break into the box. Works for Palace. He had a fantastic start to the season on loan from Chelsea. Brighton plays are furious that it's a penalty. From first glances, I thought it was a penalty. He just took it upon himself to run at this Brighton defence. Yeah, easy as you like penalty. That is a forwards challenge in the box. He got beyond Cucurella and was caught there late by Trossard. As Gallagher wasn't really going anywhere. He was just looking to get in the box, maybe take it down the byline and we'll look for a pullback. Before he could even do any of that, or think of that, he was brought down by Trossard. Quite cynically as well. And right before half-time, with a minute added on, we've nearly already played the minute added on, Palace have a penalty, and it's Wilfried Zaha to take in this fixture at home at Selhurst Park last season in the 1-1 draw. Palace went 1-0 up through a Zaha penalty. That was in the 19th minute. This one will be in the 47th minute, but it'll still be equally as important if they can take the lead. Wilfried Zaha sends Sanchez the wrong way. Bottom left corner it goes. Wilfried Zaha loves a goal against Brighton as he directs his celebrations in front of the travelling supporters. His 14th appearance against Brighton. 8th goal. And he just loves playing in this derby for Crystal Palace. Scored from the spot last season. Scores again. And Wilfried Zaha, like he did against Spurs in the last home game for Palace, he's put them ahead with a penalty. This one won by Conor Gallagher, and I think rightly so. Trossard with a really silly challenge in the box, looking to cut off the run, taking the young English midfielder out. And Palace with the lead. Zaha with his second goal of the season, both from the spot, both at home, and both in the last two games, in this one and in the one against Spurs. It's Crystal Palace 1, Brighton 0, and you have to say it's deserved for Palace as they will go in at half-time 1-0 up. Andre Mariner does blow the whistle, half-time. Palace 1, Brighton 0, and I must say I think that is deserved. Palace, I think, have been the much better side, having a lot more possession, creating half chances, but not really anything too special, but have just kept proceeding to look to break down Brighton. Their persistency has paid off in the end, and they've won a penalty due to hard work and hard drive from Gallagher into the box, taken out by Trossard, I think rightly given by the referee as a penalty. And Zaha, cool as you like, sending the keeper the wrong way, gives Brighton a deficit they have to come behind from. They did it in the opening game of the season against Burnley with 1-0 down, flipped it on its head and won 2-1. They'll have to do the same again. But if Palace can keep up the way they're playing and how well they're playing in this game, then it'll be hard for Brighton to come back. But it is Zaha to give them the lead. It's Crystal Palace 1, Brighton 0. And it looks like their chance to go top of the league is slowly falling away from them. Here, Brighton and Hove Albion. Get you on Sky. Oh, great compliment. Thank you very much. Hopefully one day, fingers crossed. Here we go again. Got to feel sorry for Brighton. I don't feel sorry for Brighton. I don't think they've been good enough. They had that penalty claim with Welbeck, but I don't think it was a penalty. Trossard, who gave away the penalty himself, had one chance around half an hour in where he got across the near post and got a shot in towards the near post. That hit the side netting. Other than that chance, they've not really done anything at all, Brighton. Palace being on top, dominating possession. We'll see how much possession they've had. Overall, they've had 57% possession, 7 shots, 3 on target. Not many clear-cut chances, but that run from Gallagher to win the penalty was enough. And Brighton have a lead at half-time. I'm going to go for half-time because there's not a lot of people in the stream, so I will be back. Oh, as the stream is currently malfunctioning on me. There we go. We are back. Sorry if there was any lag there. Oh. Hopefully the stream's still working now. If there's any buffer in there, I do apologise. I think I fixed it. But yeah, I'll be back in 15 minutes for the second half. Make sure you're there. Hello, we're going to be back a little bit early for the second half, just to make sure I'm here and we're ready. The Palace fans are absolutely crazy, by the way. Someone's fell, getting a little bit too excited there. The steward telling him to get back in the stands. But yeah, this means a lot for Palace. You know, it's a derby that's not really a derby, but is a derby, but really isn't. You know. But, you know, I think every game means something to fans, you know, even if it's not the biggest of games. You know, you want to win every game, really, because when you lose and you're like, oh, I'm not too bothered. Are you not too bothered? I think you really are bothered. So I think every game's important in their own way. But yeah, if anyone F1 fans are interested, look at this shirt I got today, got delivered. I never left. Daniel Ricciardo doing a shoey. If you know, you know. If you don't know F1, then you're like, what is this guy about? Why has he got a man drinking from his shoe on his shirt? Like I said, if you know, you know. But in with this second half, big improvements needed from Brighton. They were pretty poor in that first half. Made one chance in the whole half, and it wasn't even that dangerous. They were dominated by Palace in possession. They were pretty settled on the ball. Leandro Trossard will need to make up for his penalty error in the goal. And I'm absolutely fuming about this, I'm not going to lie. Because on my fantasy team, I've got Robert Sanchez in net, Shane Duffy at the back, and Trossard in my team. So I'm getting absolutely nothing today. No points. Look at that. Worst weekend I've had so far on fantasy. 30 points. How poor is that? Week before I had 56. Week before that, 74, 65, 75, 91. So this is my worst week so far, and you know, just look at it. I'm gonna show you before the game starts. Look at that. You can kind of make out Sanchez, Shaw, Duffy, Livramento, Salah, Havertz, Trossard, Grealish, Ronaldo, captain, brought me nothing, Ings, Antonio. It's been an absolute shocking weekend. And Brighton, if we focus back on this game, are going to react. They're bringing off one of their centre-backs, which is Dan Burn, number 33, and they're going to bring on midfielder Steven Elzate. So his second appearance of the season in the Premier League. His first one came in the opening day against Burnley, playing 72 minutes. He's had 4 bench appearances as well, in terms of featuring in the game on the bench, but not coming on. London-born, but has decided his citizenship is going to be Colombia. And can he make the difference? They're obviously going to change from a back 3 to a back 4. Crystal Palace kicking right to left, Brighton left to right. And we're back underway. Brighton changing shape, centre-back off, central midfielder on. Will that be the difference that Brighton need? So back underway, Jordan Ayew. Joe Ward helps it down the line. Header won by Elzate, helped on by Lallana. Headed away by Milivojevic, took as far as Lallana, who helps it back forward. Maupay getting it out wide left towards Cucurella. A bit of head tennis in the Brighton midfield, and they lose out in the end. It's now Wilfried Zaha. Stopped in his tracks by Veltman, who's kept him pretty quiet so far in terms of Zaha getting on the ball and running at him. He's kept it quite quiet, obviously, for the goal, the penalty. Veltman couldn't really stop Zaha from taking it. As Anderson cuts out advanced pass from Brighton. As far as Elzate on the ball now for Brighton midfield. It looks like they're going to be setting up in kind of a 4-3-3 system. Elzate, Lallana and Gross and Pascal Gross in the midfield with Maupay, Trossard and Danny Welbeck kind of making up a front 3. Shane Duffy, one of the surviving centre-backs. Dan Burn was the man who was pulled off in the end. Here's Cucurella advancing into the Palace half. He's got support inside with Welbeck. Can't quite get there first, but the clearance from Matt Gehi only falls as far as Elzate. Lallana loses out though in the end. It's now Zaha. Gets beyond Pascal Gross. He's got Mitchell in support overlapping on the left, and he'll play it into the path of Tyreek Mitchell. He's now one-on-one himself with Joel Veltman. He's got support. Too late until he tries to find the support. Tackled, falls to Maupay. Can't get beyond McCarthy because he's been brought down by the Scottish midfielder. Free kick for Brighton. Just too long there. Tyreek Mitchell to release it back towards Zaha, who'd made a run on the left. And as it was poked away towards Maupay, he looked to burst away. And then in the end, he was brought down by James McArthur. Vieira will be very happy with that first half. managed Manchester City's under-19s and under-21s multiple years ago. Then moving on to New York City FC and then Nice for the last couple of years. For Palace in all competitions, he's averaging, well, in the Premier League, he's averaging a point per game. Scored 5, conceded 9. 3 of those 5 scored, well, now 6 of those scored. 6 scored, 3 of those coming against Tottenham in the last home game. Conor Gallagher down the right looking to add to that goal tally. Poor cross heading towards Odsonne Edouard, collected by Robert Sanchez. Trying to get the early ball in. Conor Gallagher, the man who won the penalty kick at the end of that first half. The Spanish left-back Cucurella into Trossard, who gave away the penalty. In the Brighton half, can't release it forward. Throw in for Palace in the end. It came off Trossard again. I don't agree with that one. He shakes his head, Trossard. He tried to backheel it forward and it came off a Palace defender and then must have come back off Trossard on the way through. Ayew back to Joel Ward, the throwing taker. Chops inside. Finds the ball to Gallagher. It's now Milivojevic. Over to MacArthur. They've got men over here on the left. And he works it into Mitchell. Back into MacArthur again. Milivojevic. Zaha. Forward, first time into Mitchell. He makes a run off the ball, Zaha. Looks to try and feed him just behind him in the end. Edge of the 18-yard box, recollected by Gross. Lallana clipped to there in the end by Milivojevic. Foul, free kick, Brighton. 4 minutes into the second half. Again, Palace starting brightly. It's now Dunk. Cucurella. Dunk again. Hopefully he doesn't get sent off again like he did in this fixture last season. Cucurella. Ball inside. Nice. He gets it into Neil Maupay. Nan finds Cucurella, who's made a bursting run forward. Then into Maupay again. Shifts away from Milivojevic. Foul, free kick, Brighton. Rightly given as well. Frenchman chopped down. No complaints from Milivojevic. Stopping Neil Maupay. He's got 3 goals so far in the Premier League season. Last season, after 5 games, he did have 4 goals, so 1 short of last season. Does have a goal against Crystal Palace as well, Neil Maupay. Does have a contract till 2023, Brighton, but Everton was interested in the summer. Opted in staying in Brighton for the time being. Pascal Gross and Marc Cucurella is over this free kick on the Brighton left. Obviously no chance for a shot, but definitely a cross. Cucurella whips it in. Dunk heads it on, and it had to be tipped over the bar by Gaeta. A Spaniard had to make sure that he was tipping that one over the bar. He's not had anything to do so far. The Palace goalkeeper, that's his first bit of action. Dunk getting above Tyreek Mitchell and Odsonne Edouard and diverting it towards the top left corner, and it had to be parried over in there by Gaeta. They've got to deal with a corner now for Brighton. Swung in towards Dunk again. Good punch by Gaeta. As far as Cucurella heads it back out to Pascal Gross, the corner taker. Pressured by Ayew, gets it inside to Trossard. Spins away from Milivojevic. Met by Cucurella. Good cross under Maupay's feet. And it's cleared away and then shot by Veltman. Blocked. Brighton corner. A lot better. It was actually Lallana with the shot, not Veltman. Cucurella crossed it. Just went under Maupay's feet. It was cleared by Anderson. Well, as far as Lallana on the edge, who got a shot away. He was aiming towards that left corner again. But it was a very, very good and needed block by Conor Gallagher to keep this at 1-0 Palace. But they've got an out-swinging corner to defend from Pascal Gross. Right arm in the air, indicating what set piece they're doing. It's a good one as it's fell to Lallana on the edge. Blocked again by Gallagher. And they have to be forced back to their goalkeeper, Robert Sanchez. Now over towards Alzate, who slipped. It's now Odsonne Edouard. Plays it through towards Zaha. Has he kept on side? He will finish it. No, he won't. Great save by Sanchez. Then the flag goes up. Great save by Robert Sanchez. Alzate slipping when getting the ball from Sanchez from the cleared corner. Could have caused danger there. Edouard picked it up. Tried to slot it through to Zaha. He may have timed his run there. The linesman didn't think so, but it was a great save met in the end by Sanchez to avoid any kind of disciplinary action from the mistake from Alzate. Back underway with Welbeck. Back to Cucurella. You will expect Brighton to be on the ball a little bit more in this half. They are chasing a 1-0 deficit, so they'll have to go for it a little bit more. Lallana. Veltman just inside the Brighton half. Back to Duffy. ...102 appearances now in the Premier League. 5 of them coming for Everton. He was there for a brief spell in his career. There's a professional game anyway. Didn't play too many times professionally for Everton as he passes out a play there. Throw in for Palace in their final third. Shane Duffy giving it away. Tyreek Mitchell with the throw as they're attacking away from the Brighton fans in this half. Palace. Mitchell into MacArthur. Back to goal. And has to play it back to Matt Gahey. Then a ball forward into Zaha. Takes the touch and gets it beyond Veltman. On the edge of the 18-yard box. Get onto his right foot. Looks to play it inside towards Edouard. Cleared. Headed forward though by Milivojevic. Not really convincingly cleared by Brighton. Zaha forces it back to MacArthur in the end. Swings a crossing. Comes off Zaha in the end. And can't be dealt with by Alzate. Ayew. Can't quite get it under control. Brighton now have the possession back. Alzate having to get into this game a bit quicker. He's a bit slow at the minute. Slipped for the chance before. Spending too long on the ball there. Needs to settle into this game a lot quicker. 23-year-old Colombian midfielder. London born. Represents Colombia international level. Sanchez over to Shane Duffy. Forward. It goes to Lallana. Number 14 for Brighton. Alzate. Back to Dunk. Forward then to Trossard. Oh, gets past one and a nice roulette to get beyond Zaha. Great skill from Trossard. Pascal Gross holds up the ball. Goes inside to Lallana. It's now Trossard. Back into Lallana. Forward ball. Does find Maupay. Back to goal. Has to lay it into Gross on the right hand side. Trossard. Towards the right hand side. Plays it forward to Gross. Lays it off into Veltman who's got forward. Puts in a low drilled cross. It's deflected to the edge of the box. There's Lallana. 1-2 with Trossard. Can't get the shot away. Lallana. Can be worked away by Zaha. Oh, he brings down Veltman as he tried to... I don't know what he was trying to do there. The ball was cleared towards Zaha. Tried to get it ahead of Veltman. Veltman got there ahead of him. He caught Veltman in the end. Zaha instead of getting the ball. A free kick for Brighton in quite a dangerous area. Around, 26 yards out. Probably more angled for a cross. But a shot could be possible. It's quite far out, actually. It's around 27, 28 yards out on the angle. Probably better for a cross. But if Cucurella with the left foot, which is favoured for a left-footed shot, if he fancies this, it'll be one hell of a free kick goal. Who's going to cross it? It will be Pascal Gross to cross it. It's a great ball in towards the far post, headed away by a Palace defender in the end, ahead of, I think that was Duffy trying to get on the end of it. Cleared by Palace. Alzate will bring it down, the last man for Brighton, and play back to Sanchez. A bit more calmly done that time by Alzate. Veltman back to Sanchez. Cleared first time. Beyond the halfway. Towards Matt Gahey, who just flicks it with his head to the side to Mitchell. Gahey. Milivojevic. MacArthur. Breaking beyond the Brighton lines. Zaha down the byline towards MacArthur. Won't get there ahead of Lallana, but does win the corner. Good play from Palace. Not being as dangerous as they were in the first half, but they are still in the game and matching Brighton. This will be a proper blow to Brighton if Palace score now. Double their lead, it'll be so much harder. And Brighton have been the slightly better side in the start of the second half, which they had to be because they were pretty poor in the first half. Milivojevic with an in-swinger. It's a dangerous ball. Caught very well in the end by Robert Sanchez. It was put right on the keeper. Rolls out to Duffy, back into Sanchez. Pressed by Edouard. Kicks it, just about gets it to Cucurella at left back. Inside it goes to Alzate. Dunk. Back to his keeper, Sanchez again. Pressed this time by Conor Gallagher. Just about clears it, and then doesn't even get towards his target of Veltman, throwing for Palace. Taken quickly. Anderson at the back. Helps it back over towards Tyreek Mitchell. Brings it down. Forward to MacArthur. Tackled by Lallana, but then wins it back with a strong challenge of his own. Zaha brought down. Referee sees nothing wrong with it, and then Brighton do eventually bring it away with Trossard in the Palace half. He's got options to his right and does find Pascal Gross. Looks for a cross in the far post where Welbeck tries to get on the end of it. Well caught by Gaeta. That attack breaks down. Good goalkeeping by the Spaniard. The best clean sheet tally he's had at Palace was in the 2019-2020 season in the Premier League. That's what we're speaking. He got 10. So far this season, they've had 2. Lallana as Brighton are back in possession. Duffy has to recycle. Will be the right recycler, as it was played back to him by Trossard by quite a length, resetting Brighton right to the back. Lallana scoops it over towards the left. Really poor. Shocking from Lallana. Joe Ward can capitalise. It's now MacArthur. Mitchell's free on the left. Gets it to the left back, who's in his own half. Back to Mark Gahey. Joachim Anderson. Ward. Anderson. Gaeta. Not been too busy, but he's had to be brought into action the last 10 minutes twice with a dunk header tipped over the bar and then having to collect that cross away from Danny Welbeck. Milivojevic gets it into Edouard. Attempts to hold it up and attempts to hold it up successfully. Gets it away from the Brighton defender and works it to Zaha on the left. This is where he's most dangerous. Gets it back into Edouard. Bought from Celtic in the summer. Scored twice on his debut against Spurs late on. MacArthur back through into Zaha, down the byline. Doesn't have time to cross it because he's met by a strong challenge from Shane Duffy. Corner kick for Crystal Palace. Half an hour to go. It's Palace 1, Brighton 0. Brighton deservedly in the lead so far. Probably been the better team in the whole grand scheme of the first 60 minutes. They've had a couple of these corners now, Palace. If they can make one work and give them what would be a huge lead. Crossing again. Headed away at the near post by Alzate. Or as far as Zaha. 1-on-1 with Trossard. Helps it back in the box, Zaha. The header will be worn by Anderson. It's poor though and had to be parried in the end by Robert Sanchez as an acrobatic attempt was attempted by a Palace player. Cleared in the end by Brighton. Again, not very far. Conor Gallagher will bring it back forward on the right. It's now Anderson in the right back area. Works across, deflected off Cucurella. Loops in the sky. Milivojevic tries to head it down and does so to Ayew. It's now Ward looking for a ball down the line and in behind for Gallagher. Had to be overhead kicked away by Cucurella. And a throw in for Palace it is. Ward to take the throw. Into Jordan Ayew. Back to goal. Pressure by Alzate and Cucurella. Spins. Brought down. Play continues. Trossard, the man coming out of it. Try to play it out again. Doesn't get too far, but then Anderson loses out to Cucurella's interception. Then he gets pulled down. Free kick for Brighton in their own half. Graham Potter will not want to choke this opportunity of going top of the table. You know, they might not be there for very long, but still, after 6 games being top of the table is a very good achievement. Robert Sanchez on the edge of the 18-yard box, the keeper. What option can he find? It's the left-back Cucurella who nods it down into Alzate. Gets it back into Cucurella. Back a go again. He has to go to Dunk. Drives forward. Plays it forward into Welbeck. Cucurella inside to Trossard. This is better from Brighton. Trossard needs to release, and he does go to Maupay. He drops a little bit deeper for the ball, but he then works it to Veltman on the right. Gross is over. Plays it to the German. Back into the Dutchman. Lallana. Into Gross. Veltman makes an overlapping run. He gets it and gets the cross right through. And why is no one attacking it? Welbeck will pick up the missing pieces and recycle it to Cucurella. He goes to the edge of the box to Lallana. Touches it into Welbeck. And gets it to the right-hand side to Veltman. What a ball by the Dutchman. And he has to be kicked out by Veltman because he's on the halfway line. And Alzate, who went down before, he looks in quite pain. He's obviously got back up. Not being able to continue, clearly. He's gone back down. I think it was a kick on his Achilles, on his left Achilles. Looks like the substitute will have to be substituted due to injury, and it will be Jakub Murder to come on. Signed in 2020 from Lech Poznan. He's now a regular in the Polish side at international level. Played 2 times in the Euros. 1 goal so far this season. That was in the League Cup against Cardiff. Only the 1 start, and that was in the defeat to Everton. Let's have a look here. Alzate. Oh, just goes over on his ankle there during the challenges he had with Jordan Ayew. Yeah, you can see where he's hurt himself. His ankle and his Achilles. One of the two will be definitely hurt there. Just got it stuck under Ayew and it kind of twisted a little bit. They're always painful ones, and hopefully Alzate won't be out for too long. He definitely won't be able to continue in this game. Because it's a very tall central midfielder, Jakub Murder, is going to come on. He's 6'3". He looked massive on the sidelines there. Yeah, it's a difficult one for Alzate. He never really got into the game in the first place, if we're going to be honest. Steven Alzate, he was pretty slow getting into the game, and then he's not going to have a chance to get into the game anyway, because with 20 minutes gone into his game here, he may have to come off with an injury. Moving gingerly on it, and he will have to be substituted. The substituted due to injury, and it'll be Jakub Murder to come on. Hopefully he can make the change for Brighton. I think Jakub Murder did score for Poland against England last season at Wembley in the 2-1 win that England got, if I'm not mistaken. Welbeck just goes over to him, to Alzate, and just, offering him the support, because it is a nasty looking injury, and it's never nice to come on as a sub and then have to come off due to being injured. Hopefully he won't be out for too long there, the Colombian. But he's replaced by the Polish midfielder, Jakub Murder. Get to score in the Premier League. Great time to score it in the derby. It's Graham Potter, like I said, will not want to drop points here. McCarthy. Oh my word. Oh, he kicks out, okay. So basically Brighton had the ball, didn't they? So Mitchell had the throw in, because obviously Veltman kicked it out. Mitchell threw it to McCarthy and he just blasted it out for a goal kick. So obviously Sanchez has to go through the faffing about of taking the goal kick. Can Brighton secure a point, or even go on for 3, depending on how soon they get a goal, if they do get one. Oh, Duffy's head has gone backwards there. Good job Veltman was there covering. He can hand it back to Sanchez. Kick out of his hands and looking. Oh, what a ball. Murder in behind on the right. Gets a ball across, and it had to be cut out by Mark Gahey. Again, not the first time Palace cut out by one long ball over the top. This time it was the goalkeeper Sanchez sending it down the line. Murder got on the end of it. He's just come on, supplying a half-decent teasing ball. Was dealt with in the end by the young English centre-half. But good start for the substitute Murder. There'll be an out-swinging cross from Pascal Gross. Get some good height on it. Head away by Ward. Now Trossard, who can't bring it down from the clearance. Jordan Ayew will hold it up. And we'll lose it to Trossard. Tries to go inside on Conor Gallagher, but that's a good challenge. He loses out, though, to Jakub Murder. And a throw, and it'll be for Crystal Palace. Definitely seems to be a fan favourite, Conor Gallagher, so far, and he's only been at the club since about July. such a likeable personality, Conor Gallagher, especially the way he plays so positively, like we saw for the winning of the penalty. Obviously with the 2 goals as well he's got in the season against West Ham. He's an England under-21 international currently. Dunk clears. Got out by Milivojevic. Can't be stopped by Mitchell for the throw-in, and Brighton have it. Taken quickly by Neil Maupay. Looks like Christian Benteke will be coming on. Probably for Edouard, who's not had the greatest of games. Benteke probably will be better at the hold-up play as Zaha gets fouled by Trossard as he won the ball off Trossard, doing his defensive duties there, Zaha, and as he tried to recover Trossard by winning the ball back, he clipped Zaha. Free kick for Palace. Now back with Gaeta. Anderson in the 18-yard box of Crystal Palace. Ward lifted forward, brought down by Ayew with a nice touch to Edouard. Back into Ayew again. Zaha's on the left and he will feed it to the Ivorian. He's already got one tonight. Can he get second? He's charged in the box. He can't quite go round the Brighton defender with his step overs. Cleared by Brighton. And again a second time, and in the end it does just drop to the goalkeeper of Brighton. Cucurella. Dunk. So for 20 minutes to go for Brighton to look to get an equaliser. They've not come close at all, really, too often. Trossard into Maupay. Back into Trossard again. They're going to look towards this right-hand side. It's Yakin Murder. Lays it off into Veltman. Down the line it goes to Murder. Back to Veltman again. Side to Lallana. Veltman. It's not quick enough, this play from Brighton. They need to speed it up. 21 minutes to go. Dunk. Audacious switch to the right-hand side. Never going to work from Dunk. Murder can't keep it in. Throwing for Palace in the left-back area. Looks like that change will be made now with Christian Benteke very shortly. Getting his final instructions from his manager, Patrick Vieira. He won 24 trophies as a player, by the way, Vieira. One of them being a World Cup, 1 Euros, 3 Premier Leagues and a Champions League. Won the whole lot, Patrick Vieira, and what a midfielder he was. Remember those battles he had with Roy Keane in the Premier League, in the prime golden era of the Premier League. Another throw in for Palace. Mitchell throws it down the line. Edouard helps it on to Zaha. Great header from Odsonne Edouard. Now Zaha has a bit of space to run into down the left-hand side. Tries to go inside. Nice bit of skill. Stopped though in the end by Duffy. Well, as far as Edouard, he takes over. Tries to go around the long way. Duffy just shields him out. Goal kick for Brighton. Good defending there by Shane Duffy. Stopping Odsonne Edouard from getting in. Formed with PSG, Odsonne Edouard. Was there for 7 years. Does have a contract here at Palace until 2025. He won 9 trophies at his time at Celtic in the 4 years he was there, and he will be replaced with 20 minutes to go by Christian Benteke. Got his start today. Didn't get his goal in this game, but he does have 2. Both of them against Spurs in the last home game here. He will be walking off with no goals, but a half-decent performance. Decent hold-up play, linking up the play together. Not too bad. Not the best, not the worst. He'll be replaced by Benteke, who will probably be better at the hold-up play and just helping Brighton as a whole. And it looks like it'll be a double change as well. Luka Milivojevic will also be replaced, the captain, by Ceku Kiarte. Milivojevic making his second appearance in the Premier League of the season. Doing decently well. Did get 2 goals against Brighton in the 2018-19 season when they lost 3-1 and 2-1. So every time they scored against Brighton in those defeats, it was Milivojevic, the man who scored. Probably penalties. But he will be replaced. He's just easing back into the Palace team, and he will be replaced by Ceku Kiarte. He played a majority of his games last season at centre-back. 32 of the 36 games he played in the Premier League were at centre-back, but with centre-backs now in full flow at Palace now, with the signings of Anderson and Gehi, he will no longer be needed at centre-back. Well, sometimes he will if they're really running out of numbers again. As Yakin Murder looks to slip through Maupay in behind, but these 2 defenders of Anderson and Gehi for Palace have been absolutely terrific tonight. Really strong as Zaha leaves the ball under his foot. As Zaha reacts to Veltman giving a bit of a shove. It's so easy to wind up Zaha. Needs to be careful there, the Ivorian, because he's so good, but he just gets wound up very easily, and Veltman will target that now. So it's the opposite side for Brighton. Now Duffy. Dunk. Drives forward. Into the Palace half he goes. Goes back to Duffy. Really resolute defending by Palace so far. I think they do deserve the 3 points. But if Brighton can maybe switch it up a few gears, we might be singing a different story at the end of this game. Who can write themselves in the back of tomorrow's newspapers in the sports section? Will it be Zaha's penalty? Or will it be a late turnaround from Brighton? They've got the place to do it. No, actually, Danny Welbeck's, Malpay's, Trossard, who does need to make up from his penalty giveaway right at the end of the first half as well. Such a sucker blow for Brighton. You know, they weren't playing well anyway, but if they could have got in at 0-0 and kind of reshaped like they did and go out thinking, right, it's 0-0. If we get the first goal, we have something to protect, but that was forced right down the toilet. There's a ball over the top by Duffy. It will find, in the end, number 15 for Brighton, and that is Yakin Murder. It got a nick off a Palace player as it went over the top and through, so instead of taking it down and having a lot of work to do down the left, he let Dunk's pass that was deflected just go out for a corner, because they've got the height and they'll probably use a corner better than what they would have done if Murder was kind of left isolated on his own on the left. So good smart play there from Yakin Murder. Palace have conceded the most goals with Watford this season from corners. They've conceded 3. So Brighton may see this as a area to exploit. Duffy's in there. Dunk. Murder. They need to just get it in their box. I won't mess about going short. It'll be an in-swinging ball. Good ball as well. Had to be headed away by Benteke. Chested down by Cucurella on the edge of the box. Tackled by Gallagher. It will fall to Zaha. Loses out to Maupay. Good strong challenge from the Frenchman. Zaha will look to leave the ball for a Palace throw-in. As it came off Maupay last. As he lunged in. Oh no, Welbeck's gone down. Why is Welbeck gone down? He can't be injured again. Aaron Connolly's already ready to come on, so they may have known about this for a while. For Danny Welbeck of injuries, he's had 16 injuries in his career, separate injuries in his career from 2009. He's missed 174 games because of injuries. Altogether, that's 1,089 days injured. That's just under 3 years of football missed due to injury for Danny Welbeck. 1,089 days out injured. Just under 3 years of his career. Sat on the sidelines if that's injured or coming back from injury. He gets so unlucky, Danny Welbeck. He's now at the age of 30 where he's still not, that old in football terms. 30, he still can play for another 3 or 4 years. But if he's not careful with these injuries, he may have to call it early because he just keeps getting these reoccurring injuries. When you tell someone you've missed 174 games in your career because of injury, something isn't right. Yeah, not 1,800 days, 1,089 days missed. And he will be replaced in the end by the tiny Irishman, Aaron Connolly. Like I said, second appearance of the season in the Premier League. Did get 2 in the League Cup against Swansea the other week. Did impress me when he played for Ireland against Portugal in the recent international break. They did lose that game in the end, Ireland, 2-1 to Portugal. Ronaldo scoring 2 late goals, but Aaron Connolly did impress me as Conor Gallagher's been taken out, but play continues. Benteke over to Ayew. How's he missed? What a chance. Jordan Ayew, he's not scored for so long, and that was a chance to break the duck, but he's put it wide, and that is a player without confidence. Chance to kill the game, missed, gone. Oh, my word. Brighton lose possession with Cucurella as he tried to play into the midfield. Conor Gallagher got taken out by Cucurella in the end, but play continued as the ball fell to Benteke, who was unselfish, did the right thing, played it across to Jordan Ayew on the angle, on the right-hand side. Dirty challenge from Cucurella. Played it across to Ayew, just had to slot it past Sanchez. He did slot it past Sanchez, but not into the back of the net. Will they have a chance? Brighton lucky, Cucurella even luckier, just escapes with a yellow card on that challenge with Gallagher. And Palace should be 2 up. Lifeline for Brighton, this. Jordan Ayew. So poor. He only got 1 goal last season in 33 Premier League appearances. Does have a French league title with Marseille around 10 years ago. Jordan Ayew, but he should have scored there. Now dunk on the ball. Back to Sanchez it goes. Forward into Veltman. It's now dunk. It's now starting again with Brighton on the ball. Cucurella. Into the space against Maupe, breaking those lines. Doing it nicely. Replaying it into Cucurella, who works across. Oh, it's wild. Wild from the Spaniard. It will go all the way to the opposite side for a throw-in. Where Brighton could box in the opposition and make it hard for Crystal Palace to keep the ball here. Brighton fans still believe they've had such a good start to the season and they'll want to top the league, but they'll need to score 2 in the last 12 minutes, plus any added on time that they may get. Mitchell throws it down the line. Won by Veltman, helped on by Lallana. Once more by Gross, over towards Trossard. Can't bring it down ahead of Mitchell, but he does get it off Mitchell. Fantastic play from Trossard. Tries to work the cross, collected by Gaeta. Again, he's not had much to do, Gaeta, but when he's been called upon, he's been very solid in between the sticks. The experienced Spanish goalkeeper. He throws it out in the end to the right-hand side to Jordan Ayew, who is clearly lacking confidence in front of goal, but he's holding it up nicely here. He's left Cucurella, finds a bit of space and then plays it over to the left-hand side to Tyrick Mitchell. Gehi. Ball forward, nice ball forward to Zaha, back to goal. Lays it off into Chiarte, the substitute. It's now over to the halfway line again to Joel Ward. Forward to Conor Gallagher, spreading the pitch, getting far right. Then Chiarte can't find Ayew. One back though after a deflection off Conor Gallagher. It's now with Ayew, heavy touch out of play. Throwing for Brighton. Brighton don't really have many other players they can bring on. Maybe Solly March is returning back to the bench after missing Everton with a hamstring injury. Missed half of last season. Solly March from February to May. 16 games he missed with a knock injury. Not got a great scoring record as well, Solly March, in the Premier League. He's only scored 4 in 115. Not great, but he's an option maybe to get an assist. Maupe flicks it over towards Gross. Brings Cucurella into play. Slow again, has to be forced back to Dunk. It's been too slow here, Brighton. Looks for a switch. And it will find Veltman. Tries to nod it inside to Trossard. Picked up by MacArthur. Out forward to Zaha. He's going to run away from the Belgian winger. Going to keep going, Zaha. Then taken out in the end by Leandro Trossard. And that'll be a free kick. And a yellow card for the Belgian. Not a great game for Leandro Trossard. Give away the penalty right before half-time. And is now on a booking after having to stop Zaha. Because if he didn't stop him, Zaha's away. And has a good chance of scoring down the left. Just kept bursting away. Got deep inside the Brighton half in the end. And Trossard had to take him out. Bring him down. Rightly give him booking. And it looks like Brighton's day is not today. Looks like they will be losing their second game of the season. If Palace get a second, I think that will be it. Gallagher and Tyrick Mitchell in discussion about how to take this free kick. It'll be left for Gallagher to put an in-swinging right-footed cross in. It's a great angle for it. Gets the right height on it. Too much of a good height for Sanchez, though, who collects and throws it out quickly, strikes out for counter-attack. Mope inside to Gross. Tries to play it forward into Cucurella. Will he get there ahead of Joachim Andersen? No, he won't. Well defended by the Dane. Back with Lallana, though, is Crystal Palace's clearance wasn't good enough. And now you commits a foul to the disgust of the Palace fans. They think it wasn't a foul, but I think he just pushed over the Brighton defender there. I think rightly given. The emotions are high now. Palace are so close to this big victory under Vieira. It will be another loss for Brighton. They won under Graham Potter. Be their 36th under him. They've lost more than they've won under Potter in the last few years. Veltman forward to Murder. Can't get beyond Mitchell. Trossard will take over. And go back to Duffy. This change of formation to 4 at the back hasn't worked yet for Brighton in this half. They ditched it at half-time, bringing off Dan Burn for Alzate, who was then injured during the game and had to be brought off for Yakin Murder. Veltman. Trossard, so many blue and red shirts forming this formidable wall. Murder down the line looking for Trossard. Zaha stayed with him and he shrugs him off the ball. And then loses out though to Veltman in the end. And then wins it back with resilience. Tries to play it through to Benteke. Just intercepted by Duffy. Important interception from the centre half. And Brighton will come again. Good work though on that left hand side from Zaha. That's what the fans will want to see. Every player playing their best to get this 3 points. Cucurella. Back into Dunk. Zip ball through to Malpe. Tries to turn. Tackle by Gehi. Now falls to Gallagher. Heavy touch and he catches Cucurella late. Be a booking surely. Cucurella took out Gallagher about 10 minutes ago for a Palace counter-attack. He got a booking. And the same there. Gallagher heavy touch. Tried to recover. And absolutely took out Cucurella in the end. Really late. Easy booking. But Gallagher just trying to make up for a poor touch and an even worse challenge. Both have got in each other, but Cucurella booked for fouling Gallagher. Gallagher booked for fouling Cucurella. They're even, both on bookings, and Brighton have a superb chance to get a good cross in here to maybe get what you could call an undeserved equaliser. It's not been great today. Brighton, be Cucurella to swing this one in, headed away by Anderson to the edge of the box here. Lallana back once more to Veltman, crossed in, headed away by Ward. Veltman, back they go to Robert Sanchez, the keeper. Flung into the Palace box. Helped on by Duffy. Murder chases towards the byline, but Gaeta again. Safe pair of hands. Everything he's been asked of, Gaeta has matched. If that's coming out for a cross, coming out to intercept a pass, saving a shot, he's done all of it tonight. Joachim Anderson out to right back Joel Ward. Just over 5 minutes to go. He sends it long up towards Benteke, who does win the flick on, but no one's running in behind him. Duffy now can start an attack for Brighton. Lallana on the halfway, assessing his options in the quarterback position. Sprays a ball wide right. Too much on it for Veltman. Can't control it. Goal kick in the end for Crystal Palace. And they will make a change. Andre, that's his brother, Jordan Ayew missed a glorious opportunity about 10 minutes to go to kill the game off. Will be brought off for former Leicester and Premier League champion Jeffrey Schlupp. He's missed the last 2 Premier League games, but he's back in the squad for this one and replaced Ghanaian for Ghanaian. Schlupp's on. Did suffer an hamstring injury at the start of this year. Was injured again for the last 2 games, but he's back to help his team secure the 3 points. Gallagher. Joel Ward gets beyond the challenge of Connolly. Then Connolly does get tackled by Gallagher in the end. Dunk will take the free kick. That was won in the Brighton half. Clips it forward. Can't be helped on by Trossard. Nearly falls to Benteke, but he's volleyed back towards his goalkeeper by Gross. Duffy. Back to Sanchez. Lallana. Difficult ball to Duffy, but he takes it under control nicely. Gets it away with the left foot. Finds Trossard. Out to Veltman. This is a good start of an attack here for Brighton. Veltman gets it over to the left-hand side now. Pascal Gross. Into Connolly on the edge of the box. Tries to play the ball back in with a reverse ball. Loses out twice to Joachim Anderson, who then plays it forward to Benteke. He loses out to Dunk. Palace are stopping attacks, but then can't keep the ball themselves. Murder. Trossard. Mope. Dunk. Cucurella. 3 minutes to go. in the Palace half. Brighton look to attack. Down the line it goes to Connolly, followed by Anderson. Back it goes to Cucurella. Mopé gets in the box, then tackled. Not cleared again convincingly. Cucurella on the left works a cross in. Too much on it. Goes all the way over towards Zaha. Goes down well too easily. Veltman wins it back, and then with a strong challenge from Zaha, wins the goal kick. Unbelievable defending from Zaha. He's done his defensive duties really well tonight. He lost it the first time, and then recovered by tackling Joel Veltman aggressively but fairly. Tackling Veltman and getting the last touch off the Dutch defender. But so far, the difference between these two sides is a Zaha penalty won by Gallagher right before half-time. Dispatched well, sending Sanchez the wrong way. Is Zaha's 400th Palace appearance, scoring his 70th goal. The 28-year-old secured his 250th Premier League appearance in their last game against Liverpool. 236 of them for Palace. 48 Premier League goals, all of them for Palace, now on 49 Premier League goals. One more till he hits the half-a-century mark. But I don't think he'll be looking for goals at this point. I think he'll be looking to defend this lead that they've got. Connolly, ball over his head, thrown for Palace. I think he's about to be given man of the match, and I think rightly so. Scored the penalty. He's been energetic and defending really well, but you've got to give shout-outs to Conor Gallagher, Mark Gehi at the back as well. I think Joel Ward's been really solid at right back. Benteke gets it from Chiarte. Benteke tries to help it forward towards Zaha, but there's a foul earlier on in the Palace half for a Brighton free kick. Not quite sure what happened there. Obviously, Andre Mariner saw a foul and the Palace players didn't have many complaints. A minute to go before we find out additional time. Can Brighton nick a late winner? I don't think they have enough time to score 2 goals to go top of the league, but they could go joint second, a point behind top. Pascal Gross over it. This needs to be a good delivery. It'll be Gross to send this cross in. It's a dangerous one. It's headed on by Duffy, and it's an easy save in the end for Gaeta. Duffy got up the highest, directed the header towards goal, but it wasn't directed well enough. It was an easy save right at Gaeta as he dropped on the ball and made sure it's his. No spillages from the Spaniard in the goal. Got beyond Benteke, bounced in front of the keeper, but not in a dangerous way where it could cause a goal. Headed away by Palace, won back by Palace. MacArthur now, we've hit the 90th minute, works it to Zaha, slowing the play down. 5 minutes added on before Palace get back-to-back home victories. Tyreek Mitchell, tackled by Murder in the corner flag, tries to clear it. It'll be a Brighton Palace ball. Mitchell and Murder were battling in that corner flag, and it came off Murder last. This crowd's been unbelievable for Crystal Palace tonight. I'm not being able to hear it, but you can see it. Their enthusiasm as they win a corner. Throwing towards Duffy, and all he could do is head it out for a corner. Keeping Brighton pinned as far back as they can. The flags are up. Some shirts are off. Palace are loving this Monday night game against their rivals. Be big 3 points. Very good in the first half. Not as good in the second, but they had something to protect, and they've done that very, very well. Gallagher getting a warm round of applause as he goes over to take the corner. We played short to Benteke. He's gone over to the corner flag to protect it. In that corner flag, loses it straight away. Out of play for a throw-in. Couldn't keep it away from Yakin Murda. He's now worked away quickly by Duffy with a clearance. Can't find Trossard. Helped forward by Mitchell. Gallagher commits the foul on Lallana. The free kick will be left for Robert Sanchez. Diagonal ball into the box. Duffy can't head it on. Cucurella will pick up the pieces. No, he won't. Benteke will get there ahead of him. But then tackled by the Spaniard. Chops back. Brought down by Benteke. Play continues though. Gross. Clipped in. Nodded down by Dunk to the edge of the box to Lallana, who loops it over towards Murder. Gets the header onto nobody. Collected by Gaeta. He drops to the ground again. And with 3 minutes to go, Brighton have just not looked like scoring the whole game. Not been good enough, not been dangerous enough, not really any big chances. I think the main one they had was about 10 minutes into the second half where Dunk looped a header towards the top left and it was saved by Gaeta, tipped over, but it's a save you'd expect him to make. It'd be poor if he didn't save it. Other than that, there's just not had much going on. Palace have had their fair few chances, took the penalty they were given. And it does look like they were going to walk to a victory at the minute. But let's not talk too soon. We know Premier League can spring surprises. Dunk. Long ball forward, helped on by Duffy. Has to be dealt with by Joel Ward, and it was cleared in the end by Gaeta. Couldn't risk the back pass there as it came off Joel Ward, so Gaeta just hoofed it away. Throw-in taken quickly. Cucurella, 2 minutes to go. Needs to get it into the box if they can. Trossard. Gross. Onto his left foot. Back onto his right foot. Crosses. It's dangerous. Gaeta punches away. Zaha helps it on. Veltman has to kick it out for a throw-in. As Gaeta stayed down as he punched it, Duffy went right into the keeper quite aggressively. With Palace throwing no matter what. The ball came in, good confident keeping, and then Duffy's gone right into him. Don't think there's a foul there, making the most of that Gaeta. Nothing wrong with him. Exaggerating the injury to waste a bit of time. Have they pulled it back for the free kick in the end? Oh, they have. That wasn't a free kick. Duffy did go in quite strong, but didn't really catch him at all. It's done well there, Crystal Palace keeper, to win a free kick. Minute to go until a very historic victory for Crystal Palace. It'll be their 39th victory in the fixture, one away from Brighton, who've got 40 in the last 105 games these two teams have played against each other. Poor clearance away, help back forward and in behind for Neil Maupay's in behind. He tries to lob Gaeta and he's done it! It's heartbreak for Crystal Palace and Neil Maupay scores. It's his 4th goal in the 6th game of the season for the Frenchman. And oh my word, there's Brighton fans on the pitch. Robert Sanchez is just darted forward to celebrate with the fans. The cameraman's on the deck. It's gone crazy in the away end. And what a way to throw it away from Palace. Shocking free kick taken by Gaeta. Straight to the feet of, who did it fall to in the end? I think it was Veltman who just helped it forward. Just into the path of anyone, not really looking for anyone, just helping it forward into the unknown corridor of uncertainty. Maupay was there, ahead of Kouyaté. He lobs Gaeta so precisely into the back of the net. Potter's delighted. Vieira cannot believe it. And what an awful way to give away 3 points. I say they're giving away 3 points, technically giving away 2, but it will feel like a loss. They've been the much better team, Palace, and they won a free kick from a free kick they tried to win to waste time, and I don't think it was even a free kick. Gaeta took it shockingly straight to Veltman. First time, just got it forward, and it thankfully fell right into the path of the Brighton fans to Maupay. You wouldn't want anyone else on it. Just calmly lifted it over Gaeta. He had no chance at all. And he's taunting the fans, Maupay, telling them to shush, holding his ears as well. He's having a bit of disagreement now with Zaha. The game's back underway. We've played a minute over the 5 added on. Palace clear it forward, and that is a point secured for Brighton. Full time. Vieira will be absolutely gutted. Potter delighted with the point in the end after a pretty lacklustre Brighton performance. Maupay's looking at something. Oh, there's a bit of a fight going on here. Robert Sanchez having to be held back. Tensions rising in the end. Wonder who that was between. Robert Sanchez, definitely a part of it on the... I think it was with Zaha. What a shock. And somehow Crystal Palace have walked away with a point. from a free kick they won to buy. They bought the free kick to waste time, that is for sure. I don't think it was even a foul from Duffy. He didn't really catch Gaeta. Shocking free kick, straight to Veltman on the halfway line. They just, like I said, first time, right foot, just put it over the top, just hoping a Brighton player would get on the end of it. And did a Brighton player get on the end of it? Of course they did. Straight to Maupay, in behind. No defenders around him to stop him from lifting it, lobbing it into the back of the net. Celebrates with the away fans. Is it an undeserved point? I think so. I don't think Brighton were good enough at all. But that does not matter. That's what teams like Brighton do. They don't play well, but they secure a point. Do they go top? No. But they do still go joint second with some of the big boys in the Premier League. It is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. They're on 13 points with Everton, Manchester United, Chelsea and Manchester City. They're 1 point off Liverpool, who's currently top of the league. And although it wasn't the 3 points they craved, they are absolutely delighted with a smash and grab point away at Selhurst Park. Palace feel like they've been defeated here at home. Brighton feel like they've won the game. Contrast of emotions. 95th minute equaliser from Maupay. All from the wrongdoings of Vicente Gaeta, who's had a pretty decent game in goal for Palace. He bought a free kick to waste a bit of time and sending it high and far, just as far away as he could. He misjudged the free kick, got it horribly wrong. It was low, it was not even towards a Palace player, straight to a Brighton man, which was Veltman. First time ball on that right foot, just lifting it over the top, hoping someone would get on the end of it. Maupay got on the end of it. It's now 4 Premier League goals in the first 6 games of the season for Maupay. And oh my word, what an end to the game. They were pushing Brighton. You could see they were trying to get that goal. Things weren't really working for them. But you did just feel like Palace were going to walk away with the 3 points. You just feel like Brighton just wasn't quite doing enough for the point. They had a lot of possession in the second half, creating minimal chances. You did feel like, in the grand scheme of the game, Brighton deserved all 3 points. But that doesn't matter when you don't win. If you choke it at the end like Gaeta did with that free kick, you're going to pay. The defence fell asleep. Maupay got in behind, lobbed the keeper very, very deliciously, by the way. That lob is very, very acute from Maupay, straight into the net. Brighton fans are delighted. And even though they didn't win, they didn't lose. They got a decent point on the road. And that's all you can ask for Graham Potter. It's only 1 loss in 6 now to start the season off for Brighton. They've got Arsenal at home next Saturday. But like I said, do they deserve that point? I don't think so. But Palace couldn't see out that game, and they've choked it. Brighton can't help being given a chance like that. They'll take it with 2 hands, which they did. And they've got the point that they probably think they deserve after the second half. Because they did push. I don't think they pushed well enough. But Graham Potter won't care. They've got a point. And like I said, they're joint second with a handful of top Premier League clubs. So that will be the end of the stream. Thank you to everyone who did turn up. Not the greatest for numbers, but if everyone did watch, great commentaries, mate. Thank you very much. If you did watch, please like, subscribe. Like I said, with how busy I am at the minute with college, I don't know when the next one will be. Whenever it is, make sure you check the channel out. It'll be put on schedule, so you'll see it before it happens. You'll see it like a day before the game. So just keep having a look at the channel. But for this one tonight, it finishes Crystal Palace 1, Brighton 1. Palace had a very strong first half, minimising Brighton to hardly any chances in the game in the first half. Only one from Trossard, which hits the side netting. Palace had a few of their own. They did finish the half, though, in the 46th minute with a penalty awarded through Conor Gallagher being brought down by Trossard. Zaha dispatched in the 47th minute, giving a goal to Palace in added on time in the first half. And then second half, like you'd expect, Brighton being down, they dominated a bit more of the ball, created some chances, no real chances that were any real threat. Gaeta was pretty much equal to everything. But when they thought it was all over, Brighton gifted a chance, a poor free kick clearance from Gaeta. It fell straight to Veltman. First time, just put it over the top, in behind the Crystal Palace defence, who was caught napping. Maupay capitalised on that, got in behind, just on the edge of the box, lobbed the goalkeeper, sending the away fans into absolute madness in the away end for Brighton. They nicked a point in a way that they probably didn't deserve it, but they got it, and that's what makes the best teams the best, by winning and getting points when they may not deserve it. That's what Brighton have done. Are they one of the best teams in the league? No. Are they up there with the best teams in the league at the minute? Yes. They sit joint second with the likes of Man City, Man United, Chelsea, Everton, and Manchester United. You know, they're up there. They will take this point and they will move on to the next game against Arsenal. But yes, for tonight, it's Palace heartbreak, Brighton joyous. But did either team deserve the win? Possibly Palace. They didn't get it. They didn't hold on. Vieira's going to have to look back at this game and think about where it all went wrong at the end. But for this game, it's Crystal Palace 1, Brighton 1.